Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, see what you think about this then, Al, because I was leaving a theatre in the West End. I was talking to Jason Manford.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think you'll agree, he's a very, very nice bloke.
Yes.
So he says, we were talking, he's going to be in this musical, and he was saying, you know, obviously it's a big step.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, well, I can always go back to tiling. And apparently he used to be I didn't know that, he used to be a tiler by trade.
Really?
Yeah. And he said, I can always go back to tiling. And I said, oh, is that your Vietnamese girlfriend? And he said, well, I'm having that for the tour. He said, well, it's out there now. He said, it's out there now, isn't it? And I thought, what does that mean, it's out there? And then maybe he was joking. But I didn't say anything about it, and I went away and I thought, oh, just a minute.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you came up with a joke.
Exactly.
Based on the word tiling that he had said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know I thought he'd been a drama student.
Well, that wouldn't have worked at all.
Sorry.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Can I just establish, are we recording at this point? Oh dear, okay.
Hello. This is Frank Skinner, and...
is that bit going to be in? That's really interesting.
It's all gone a bit behind the scenes.
I told you not to expose the innards, but you won't listen.
Yes, not the weekend podcast. Frank Skinner, Alan Cochrane, Emily Dean.
That's the cockerel.
That's the cockerel one. Hold on. I feel like I've walked into... you know those blokes that do fanfares when there's a member of the royal family? They must have a rehearsal room. I feel like I've walked... They probably rehearsed without the tapestries hanging from their bugles. You know, they're just probably in their street clothes. That you'd walked in and not realising that they were... Oh, sorry, lads! Sorry! Well, they could have stopped. I mean, you know...
They might go to the Acton Hilton. Do you remember? That's what they used to call the rehearsal rooms in Acton. I used to go there as a child. And actors made a little joke, my parents' friends, they go, off to the Acton Hilton, lovey.
Can I just say that this is the theme tune to Day of the Triffids?
Of course.
A well-known BBC sci-fi drama that featured Emily Dean as a child star.
Indeed.
I imagine you... Again, the fanfare guys.
It's hauntingly loud.
The fanfare guys, they need to just take it down a notch.
Maybe they're turned up to number 17 like I am.
The trouble is, there's no volume control on a bugle. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
I have frequently when I've been bugling away.
When I'm with the hunt, I'll often say, can you just take that down a notch? They can't.
We haven't got the theme tune to Granada TV's Always and Everyone that I played Jason the Asthmatic in, have we?
I think we might have. Sorry, lads. That's twice now. I really got the doors mixed up.
He's fiddling around there like the Great Oz with all those buttons.
Oh, it's like being Rick Wakeman.
A bit.
But without the sort of later career, really.
Without the capes as well. Now, Frank, did you have one of your incidents this week?
Well, I went for lunch this week, and the person I was meeting for lunch was half an hour late.
No.
Now, I'm not good with that.
Can I ask a question? Was this a friend or...
colleague?
Were you paying? No. Was this a friend? Yeah. Or was it a work?
Well, it was a sort of a sort of a mix of the two. It was someone I worked with, but I would say he was also a friend.
Oh, it's David Baddiel, isn't it?
As much as one can ever be the friend of one's manager.
Oh, really? Oh.
No.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm sitting in this restaurant, and I always think...
Do you know, that was as tension-filled as the bit in Sweeney Todd when he says, so it is you, Benjamin Barker.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, what? Sweeney Todd gets caught in the end. Oh, I hate it. No, but I don't know about you, but normally half an hour's my cut-off point. I just go.
Yes.
I go.
Yeah. I think it depends very much on how much you like and want to see the person that is meant to be coming. I think you could just
I don't like them by that stage. I find about 15 minutes in, I hate them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get furious.
Yes, I know that. You know what I would say to you, Frank? You see, 10 is a bit mentally unwell if you leave after 10.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
20, bit petulant.
20 is all right. 25
minutes now or seconds?
Yes, minutes.
All right.
I think you're right, 30's the cut-off.
There's always a bit, when I get really angry, I thought, mate, what about if they're being cut out of their vehicle with oxyacetylene equipment? But then I think, by 25, I'm thinking, actually, that's the only excuse I'd accept.
Did he text, Frank, with updates?
He did text, but why didn't he text before I had to leave?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's no good texting at 10 past when I'm already there.
Were you incandescent with rage?
I tell you what, I was a bit... there was a man sitting opposite me who I felt was smirking.
Oh.
Well, they banned that in public places.
Yeah. I felt that he was looking at me in a kind of not quite as big a star as you thought you were.
Right. Oh. Do you not eat alone sometimes anyway? I find that I quite often am in restaurants and cafes alone, but I've got a very solitary touring comedian lifestyle.
I thought you were... best club comic.
Best club comic, yeah.
No, I assume you have the club sandwich, do you?
I always now.
Now, the good thing is the man who was giving me the smirk, as time went on, I realised that he was waiting for someone.
Oh.
And what made it worse is when she turned up, she was a woman half his age. Well, I'd rather be stood up by a man than if a woman. It just makes you look. Makes you look like the old academic in The Blue Angel with Marlene Dietrich, like you've been. You've made a fool of yourself over this younger woman. The waiters were starting to come over to me and check. I could see they felt sorry for me on my own.
Did they bring you olives?
They did bring olives. Yeah. And
that's more common. That's not just 'cause you're on your own.
If I have any more bread, I won't want anything to eat. Just enough with the bread now.
You see, in Top People's restaurant, the Ivy, I don't know if you were there, they bring you the Standard, a copy of the Standard.
I have.
Which is lovely.
I did the thing of, I got my iPhone out. Thank God for my iPhone.
Thank God.
I imagine that, like, if he was half an hour late, I imagine 29 and a half of those minutes were staring at your phone, weren't they?
Well, I was trying to make it look like I was going through quite a lot of emails and messages that I had.
Yes.
In fact...
I haven't been stood up. I'm a busy executive.
Yeah, in fact, I was reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on my Kindle app.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, man. But I did. I really... And then I thought, how do I play... When he turns up, how do I play this? And I always have that problem.
Uh-huh.
Are you just out and out abusive?
Was there a certain foie dieu when he entered?
No, I won't eat that. I think it's morally incorrect. No,
You were full of olives and bread.
I thought what I'll do is I'll be like self-sacrificial. I'll say no, it's fine.
Oh, passive-aggressive, yeah.
Because I thought then that gives me a bit of lateness in the bank.
Yeah,
that's the good way. But then I thought, well, he's my manager. I've got lateness in the bank anyway.
Yeah.
It's called 15%.
Did he have a good excuse, Frank? Was it traffic?
He said traffic, and he said there was some sort of event on Gower Street. They had the paramilitaries in. Well, I haven't seen anything in the news, and God knows I've scoured it.
I can imagine you going and
looking for his alibi.
The paramilitaries? What did they... It was an embassy raid that didn't make the news. So, I mean, don't come up with something that checkable. That's my advice.
Oh.
I started looking out the window as well. I mean, that was tragic. So I thought I'd look out the window.
Frank.
But then I looked like I was looking for someone.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like Rapunzel.
Oh.
A month ago, I drove to my brother's flat in Bristol, texted him as I was setting off, saying, I'll be there about 4. Arrived out of the car at 5 minutes to 4, right?
That's very you, Cockerel.
Bursting for the toilet. I've got stuff with me. I've got bags, some of which include things that I've got for him to give him, and not in. I mean, not in. He's made the arrangement, not in. Half an hour, and I'm phoning and texting, no answer.
Oh, no.
And so I'm thinking, well, this is absurd. And you start doubting yourself.
Did you start to worry about him?
Well, a bit. And I started to worry about my own sanity, thinking, I'm sure this is his flat. I'm definitely at the right door.
Oh dear, that's a bit.
And he'd popped to the shops and then said, oh yeah, I got stuck in football traffic at 4 o'clock. I don't think so.
That must have been a terrible game.
Exactly. There was an exodus at half time.
Exactly.
Oh, actually, no, I stand corrected.
Does he live in
5 o'clock,
Wolverhampton?
I forgot. But he'd just gone to the shop to get a few bits and said, oh, you said about... Oh, no, it wasn't 4, it was 5, so it would have made sense with the football travel. But he said, oh, you said about 5. I said, it's 5:02, that is about 5. And he went, oh, I thought you meant after, as in about, as in after. No, I meant about, like, give or take 15 minutes.
What he's done is he's looked up, he's gone to look up about in the dictionary,
Yeah.
and he's just picked an A word at random.
Absolutely.
Good use of footballer's tense there, Frank.
I was,
Yeah, he's gone to the dictionary. He's looked it up. He's found after.
Excellent use.
He's looked up. He's hit it.
I was incandescent with rage, but I suppose I had the last laugh in that I've peed in his garden now.
Oh, well, there you
Oh
go.
my
I'll teach him. I don't think he knows that.
He who laughs last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you decide you let him off, Frank? You let your manager off?
Well, he was very apologetic, but it ruined the whole thing for me. I said to him, he phoned me up. That was the thing. He phoned me up before arriving. I hate taking a phone message, and everyone was looking, thinking, "Oh, the person has phoned up now."
Oh, really?
Sorry.
Oh, and they know, and it's the person. They know.
And I said, "Shall we just forget it?"
You didn't.
I did. Yeah.
Did you? I think that's fine to give him the out.
What
Yeah.
did he say?
He said, no, I'm only 5 minutes away. 20 minutes later, he turned up. I mean, it gets worse.
Well, Frank, I had social etiquette issues of my own recently.
Did you pee in someone's garden?
No.
I don't think that's appropriate.
Oh, don't you?
Not
That's
Emily.
what they said to me.
Don't even want that in my mind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a soiree, but it was a late start. We're talking post 9 p.m, post Watershed.
Ah, yes.
So I find with that, I'm pretty much ancient now, so I have to be in bed by 11, half 11.
I have to say, I was invited to this self-same party, and I like the person whose party it is very much, but when it said, like, begins at 9, I thought, well, begins. Begins is like when you turn up, you're talking to the staff for the first half hour because there's no one there. And then it said something like there'll be a floor show or something at midnight. I thought, midnight?
Yes.
What?
But everyone will have gone.
On a Thursday? So I must admit, I didn't go. 9 o'clock start, forget about it.
Well, I did go. I went with, well, she's basically your sister-in-law, really. And we met at Absolute Radio. Because we used the facilities to retouch our makeup.
Yeah.
We were going to
Lovely.
use some of the products, but they looked pretty gross, actually.
Have they not got a
Lying
beauty
around the
cupboard
shower
here?
area. They've got a shower area and everything here.
Have they? You see, I've never really used the facilities at Absolute.
No.
Because once you get your key dibber, of course you can nip in any time you like. It's a 24-hour station.
Oh,
I always
never
use
thought of
it.
doing
Security guard gave me a filthy look. We've never got along. But I did, when I went there, Frank, I was pretty clear-cut about what I wanted to do. I did exactly that. I arrived bang on, just as it was starting. The lights were still on. They were being dimmed.
Was there anyone there at 9
They were being
o'clock?
dimmed.
It
There was
must
a
have been
mum.
a full tray of
There was a
drinks at
mum.
the door.
Even the dad hadn't arrived yet.
Oh, okay.
There was a mum and a brother. Got all the drinks. Made sure to talk to the hostess,
Yes.
which was perfect, because then she thought we were in the good books. Then I thought, right, making my getaway now. By which time everyone's so drunk, they
Yeah.
don't notice.
All
But
right.
I think I don't know if you taught me this, Frank. Never say goodbye.
That's
No,
it.
but it's Bon Jovi, isn't it?
I always... was it Bon Jovi? It's me or Bon Jovi?
Never.
It was in a hotel room with someone. I can't remember.
No, I
Frank
go
taught me
in...
that.
I think when I need to, because I rarely go to a party for pleasure nowadays. I go as a sense of duty. To me, it's
Yeah.
like when I used to sign on. I just go and I register the fact I was there, then I go home. I don't linger in case they say, they want you down round at the job centre. Remember that feeling? My
Any
stomach,
extra
oh God, my
obligations.
stomach used to knot up. Used to sign on there say, can you take this round to the job centre? Oh, I don't want to go around there. Don't make me
Frank.
go around there.
But you see, if you arrive early, Frank, as well, you're useful as what they call room fill in the trade.
Do they?
Room fill. for
In the
events.
party
They call
trade.
it that. Yeah, in the party planning trade. So it's much more useful to them to have you there earlier. Mm-hmm. Performing a better
Well, like
service.
I say, you know, I like. There would have been people there, I know, I imagine, and stuff, but I don't know.
They'd have been
parties.
half an hour late, I would imagine.
I mean, who's going to turn up at 9?
Frank, that's at parties.
Emily.
I was there at 9, and then actually I will lie as well. When she says, "Oh, what time are you there?" I'll say I was there till about 1. I'll just gaslight.
Really?
I'll gaslight her.
Oh, that's see,
When did you leave? Are we allowed to ask? About
No.
1.
see if anyone says to me, "What time do you leave?" I say, "Shut your face." And I think if they want to take it to a head, I'll go with them. I think if you turn up anyway, you know, you've clocked in.
Yeah. You've
Yeah.
No need to clock out. Ah, yes. And now, I have been missing out on
Yeah.
a TV show, which a lot of people tell me is brilliant,
Yeah.
called The Killing.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
Love it.
First series.
You're
in
like one of the
particular.
characters in it, actually.
I do look a bit Truls Hartman.
You do.
Oh,
Hartman?
it's Danish, isn't it?
Yes.
It's partly a loyalty thing with me. I very much like Wallander.
Oh, right.
The
Oh, yeah.
which is not those things that you put your vegetables in to get the water out of them. It's a Swedish detective series. No, I mean, I like the Kenneth Branagh one, but I like the Swedish one is the bleakest television programme I've ever seen. So I've been to Sweden, I've been to Stockholm, and that's beautiful. But the places where Wallander, it's like, you know, when people talk about the English countryside and they say, oh, the English countryside, but the working, the sharp end of the English countryside around farms and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quite ragged corrugated iron sheeting and my old favourite tarpaulin.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Love a tart.
Often in a bright blue colour.
Yeah, and that great signifier that you're in the country, the abandoned vehicle.
Yeah.
There's often a rusting abandoned vehicle.
With a 4-year-old child.
That's
playing
what
in
it looks like. Wallander is all filmed at an English farm. It's so bleak. So I haven't seen The Killing. But then I discovered this week that a massive fan of The Killing
Yes.
is, I don't know what she's called nowadays.
Duchess of Cornwall.
Yeah, formerly Camilla,
DOC.
Camilla Parker Bowles.
DOC, I call her.
The OC.
No, DOC.
The Duchess of
DOC.
Cornwall. Not the OC, I'm afraid. That's already taken.
Well, she paid a visit to the set. And she posed with it's now sort of quite iconic, that jumper, really.
Yeah.
I rather like it. Suit you, actually, Cockerel, we'll talk. But
She posed with a jumper.
Yes, that the character wears.
Oh, what's that? Like I say, I haven't seen it. Is it kind of like the...
Where?
Yes.
is it like that thing that Starsky used to wear? Was it Starsky or Hotch? That like... Remember you saw a
yes.
cardigan with a belt?
Very well observed.
Yeah.
It's very similar. She did...
Cardigan with a belt. Come on. What do you need that for?
She did something which I love, Frank.
Could you knit me a buckle, grandmother? Sorry, what?
Knotted, always double knot at the waist. You know when royals make a little joke? I love it when they make a little
Oh,
joke.
yeah, me too.
She pointed a gun at the press and she said, "It was me all along," in a sort of Agatha Christie style.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good work from her.
Well, I read one of the things from a Danish website. Did you read this quote? And they said the fact that, because some British people who like it, because it's a bit what cool people like, isn't it?
Yes, it is quite, yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Isn't it?
Well,
Well, anyway.
I take your point. I think they've sold enough DVDs now for some uncool people to have got it.
You're just worried that you're going to be amongst the chattering classes. Venn diagram.
Whereas I am relieved, frankly.
Yes. Anyway, this bloke in Denmark wrote, "The royal family has confessed its dry conservative love for the show." So that's harsh, isn't it? I don't like the idea of Charles and Camilla's dry conservative love.
No, I don't like the idea of that.
No. But I'll tell you something. I went to the Royal Command film performance thing, whatever they're called. What's it called? The Royal...
No, I think, as you said, it was perfectly acceptable.
The Royal Command, yeah. It's not...
Royal Command performance.
I think I've reordered the words in some way. Anyway, it's that bit where a couple of royals go to. And it was Charles and Camilla. And it was the Lovely Bones. Do you know that film?
Yeah.
I don't know the
So
film.
I was
I know
interviewed
of
on the way in, and they said, are you looking forward to the film? And I said, yeah, it's great. I'm really up and in the mood for a film like this. Assuming that because it was a royal variety, it would be a lovely, warm-hearted family film.
Frank.
In fact, it's about child murder. So I'm starting to think that Camilla might be a bit of a fiend. She likes the killing, and even at the royal, she's saying, come on, Charles, I spit on your grave too. Yeah, so I think she's got a darker side.
I like the idea of them watching it together. She said it's one of the few things we watch together. Do you think
They can agree to
it's
watch.
sort of a little snapshot of normality
Yes.
of let's put our jogging bottoms on and then have an episode of the killing, shall we?
I'll put my kilt on. It's hot. Bit hot tonight.
It's hot in here, isn't it? I'm gonna
Can't
wear
we
my kilt.
listen to some goons tapes? No, I don't like it. Don't like it. I'm not having it. Oh, come on, just niddy. I bet he's like that all the time around the house. You can imagine. Anyway, so
Yeah. So that's one of the few
I have
things.
trouble. I know. Sometimes I'll say to Kath, I'd really love to watch this documentary about the rose window in Durham Cathedral. And she'll say, right. And we're watching it. It starts. I'm tense. And I realise that she's watching it with her arms folded. That isn't
dear.
good.
Oh, bad sign.
That really
Peggy
isn't
Mount
good.
style.
Yeah,
I know
so-
that look.
We disagree a lot, I must say.
An ex-boyfriend of mine used to make me watch the MotoGP, I believe it was called. Oh, Frank! In bed on a Sunday, suddenly this noise, unspeakable noise. It wasn't
No.
like living on the North Circular. It was awful.
That might
do
be
you
the
comment?
first time the word unspeakable has been used on these podcasts, and I, for one, enjoyed it.
Unspeakable.
It did sound like an angry older woman in an Oscar Wilde play.
I quite like it when you end up getting into something because somebody else is. My wife went through a phase reasonably recently.
My wife.
My wife. She got into an Australian customs television programme
Yes.
called Nothing to Declare. Have you seen that?
Yes, it's
No.
awesome. I love it.
It's just about people trying to get stuff into Australia. And so I'll walk into the room and she'll just be going, he's a swallower, he's definitely a swallower. And it's some guy with sweat
I've walked into
beading his
rooms with people shouting that, of course.
I think, are you sure that's what she's watching?
I don't live with David Baddiel anymore.
I was trying my best not to do that.
No,
joke.
I'm terribly sorry.
But yeah,
We all did it.
It's people trying to smuggle. But most of the programme seems to be people taking in grains and bits of food that aren't allowed.
I
Contraband
thought going
food.
into Australia it'd be mainly files in cakes.
Yeah.
No, there's no files and cakes episodes that I've
Well,
seen.
I think the main difference between my TV viewing and Kath's is I like watching people I like, and Kath likes watching people she doesn't like, so
Yes.
she can go, oh God, can you look what she's wearing? That's I want love, and she wants somebody she can rail at. And
Yeah, I'd have to turn it over if I shout at it too much. There was a point where my wife was watching that Sarah Beanie's restoration thing, and it kept
Oh, yes,
doing
I
my-
like that. Her and I should get
did
together.
I did not like that.
I didn't
did not
even know
like
Sarah Beanie had been restored.
No, it was her,
it's
it was
very
her
good work.
enormous country home. And
Yes, I love that.
It annoyed me because
What is she famous for, Sarah Beanie? I can't.
She's a property developer.
yeah, and so it seemed to be a programme
With
that was,
highlights.
Oh, Sarah's poor battle against the council that won't let her do up her home, and I kept getting a bit chippy, going, "Yeah, woe is me, poor Sarah. Imagine not being able to fix your country pile that you bought 20 years ago or whatever it
I
was."
don't like it when he goes class war, Frank. I
No,
won't have
well,
it.
it's awkward.
Yeah, well, neither does my wife. Neither does my wife. She so,
It's,
you know,
is she a hat inventor as well?
Sarah Beanie.
It's one that could have been her.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Excuse me, I'll just clear my throat there. Done it now. I didn't want to do a Frank Skinner style as if I've got something to declare.
No, it's
Because I've got nothing to declare. I've got nothing to declare.
That's a
Go on.
bit Tom Jones, that.
nothing to
Yeah.
declare. What a marvellous name for a satellite TV show.
It'd be good, that, wouldn't it? Should almost do it in Australian customs or something. I wanted to speak to you about being recognised, Frank. we'll come back to this, but I'm assuming that people know who you are, whereas I'm in this weird sort of other world where I never consider that anybody would recognise me, but occasionally people do, because I have appeared on various bits and bobs over the years.
Television, you mean?
Television and things like this. I got recognised from this the other day. I did an awards do and somebody came up and said, "Oh yeah, I know you, Frank Skinner's podcast. I listened to that. It's good."
That's someone who's serious on the webcam.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That's someone with voice recognition equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also did a gig the other day in Madame Two Swords, and it was a corporate event, and they tend to introduce you.
I've done gigs that felt like it was in Madame Two Swords.
I was quite pleased with myself, though, because I went on and they said, "Oh, you may recognise him from, A, B and C, some television programmes." And I said, "I'm fully aware you don't recognise me from those programmes, but is there a better place to see someone you're not sure you recognise than Madame Two Swords?"
Very fine work.
Very pleased with myself, yeah. Anyway, my son recently fell over in the street and landed on glass.
Oh,
horrible.
God.
Oh, my
Sorry to
God.
hear
Horrible first aid emergency type thing. We wrapped his arm up in a bandage and we took him to hospital and everything.
That. Did you have a bandage at your disposal?
Oh, God, yeah, we've got a first aid kit in the house. Oh, goodness me, yeah. At least one. So we're piling into the hospital. Me, my wife, I'm holding the baby, the boy, and this guy that's like I don't know, maybe he was a triage nurse or whatever it is, and I'm taking him in, and he's going, "So where do I know you from?" And I'm like, "Hey," and he went,
My child's bleeding.
We work together, don't we? I know you from somewhere." I had a hat on, so he couldn't tell I'd shaved the head, so it wasn't like he couldn't tell that he'd seen me on Dave, probably.
Right.
But I wasn't going to say at that point, "Yeah, never mind my son who's got a bleeding arm. I'd love to tell you about how it's probably Mock the Week from 3 years ago that you've seen on Dave this week." And he was insistent, and eventually, and I look back on this and shudder slightly, went, no, I know you from somewhere. What do you do for a job? And I went, "Not now, mate."
Did you actually say that?
I literally gave him a "not now, mate."
It's a bit Elton John.
I was pointing at the bleeding child. "Not now, mate."
Yeah.
And then later on I had to slightly embarrassedly say, I'm a stand-up. Sometimes you might have seen me on the telly, but it just felt like not the time.
No, that is the worst when somebody says, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Yeah,
now? And you
really.
think, "No, I don't want to be in a quiz."
Does that happen to you? Surely not.
Still, I was I was at a carvery in Birmingham,
Do you know, this is my favourite story ever.
and I was queuing up, and there was
What year was this?
This would be about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And
So in Birmingham, it was 1974.
No, there was an old lady in the queue, and you know when people talk to old ladies, they have to speak a bit loudly.
Yeah.
And they say, he did that song. He did that football. No, you've seen him on the on Have I Got News? No, and they said, "Frank, he did that football." Oh no, him said, "Oh, I can't stand him." I mean, quite loudly, yeah. And of course, you're supposed to just take it. Everyone laughs. It was, and I thought, I said, she's probably senile. It's my only way out. But it was, I didn't like that much. And then the other week I went to a restaurant in the West End, and the waiter I recognised, because I went in there once with our producer, Daisy, and she ordered goat cheese salad.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, "Do you think that's wise?"
Oh, yeah.
And because Daisy was pregnant at the time, and you're not supposed to have soft cheese when you're a pregnant woman. I mean, we all said, how knowledgeable and professional and how courageous, because if it had just been, okay, it could have just been a fat one with a pot belly. And then, I don't think, do you think you should have that? I think you've had enough cheese, love. You know what I mean? That would have been the...
I would have just let you take the risk, frankly.
Yes, I'd have thought, I'd rather than... Because did I tell you about my Wagamama experience?
No,
Oh, it was terrible.
but I'm all ears.
It was terrible. Well, I was in Wagamama with my pregnant girlfriend, and not that I have several girlfriends.
Am I gonna have to get-
some are.
I'm going to get my arthritic claw ready.
Yeah, and the waitress came over and said, "Can I get you some drinks?" And Kath said, "I'm pregnant as well." And I thought, She isn't. She really isn't.
Oh, no.
Anyway, she went, I thought, I'm not going to say anything, because if Kat hasn't noticed, that's good, I don't want her to get stressed. So the woman went away, and Kat said, what have I just said? She isn't. And I said, no, she might be. She said, no, she really isn't. She really isn't. I said, look, I think she's kind of Scandinavian, so she might not have picked up on it. She said, oh, no, she had. We need to go. I said, we're not going to go. We're not going to go.
Out?
That's going to... So, she was utterly mortified. So anyway... The girl came and I said, she still seems friendly. I don't think she understood what you said. And I don't know whether she did or whether she didn't. But at the end, we got up and this woman, I think, trying to, show there was no hard feelings, said to Kat, anyway, good luck. And she said, yeah, you too. I thought, please stop doing it. Stop doing it. Good luck at getting rid of that fat is what it sounded like. Oh, God. I mean, it was... I just wanted to run away. Oh. So anyway, this same waiter...
The goat's cheese guy.
He said to me...
let's call him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, I remember you recommending... I told him this thing, and he said, okay. He said, oh, did I? Oh, right. And I said... he said, oh, yeah. He said, you had pink lemonade.
Oh, my God, he's a weirdo.
Well, my first thought, which is perhaps even more Emily Dean thought than that, was, well, they can't get many celebrities in here. I'm going. But what a thing to remember that. And he was right. When he said it, I remembered I didn't have pink lemonade.
Yes, I do remember that.
Sell that
I don't know
pink lemonades. That's a good thing.
No, and, I mean, I don't know whether he took it as some sort of secret sign.
That was one of our infamous clown suppers when you had the pink lemonade. Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why is it clowning?
No, we used to discuss on the show. Didn't we do that with you? What clowns ate?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That's why we're selling pink lemonade.
It's kind of random, though, the idea of... Like, I think you get quite used to... If you spend time with famous people, you get used to the look that is someone being recognised. You sort of see people's heads turn.
You get the nodding.
And this is horribly arrogant, but last week I was walking along a street near me that has a strip of bars and thinking, wow, I must have been on a repeat or something. A lot of people are looking at me today.
Okay.
And then I realised I had a cute baby in my arms and my mate who I was with is a very heavily tattooed man. He's a tattooist, so he's covered, so he would be the sort of person that people would turn to look at. And my friend who was behind him is his girlfriend, who's a good friend of mine, who has been on Coronation Street, Heartbeat, and what's that one that's popular now? Downton Abbey. So,
and you had a crash helmet on.
And I had a crash helmet. Full face as well.
Oh, of course.
That's come straight from the cricket.
Come straight from a modelling session.
Yeah, exactly. How arrogant am I to think, oh yeah, people are turning and looking at me under those circumstances?
Not, because Daisy, who works on this show, and myself, shall we confess, Daisy, once when we were in Edinburgh, we saw you, and yeah... We saw you with Cockerell Jr. and we did get very excited.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, we did.
Oh, that was before...
and we said, oh, isn't he nice with the Cockerell Jr.?
Before I joined the show.
I got in a cab the other day and the bloke said, oh, great to have you in here. And I said, oh, thanks, that's lovely. He said, I've had a few famous people in here. And...
well, I hope I wasn't with them at the time.
Yeah, and I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, the best was probably, and I thought, I don't like this, I don't like the way this... Why not?
It's almost like a gauntlet, isn't it? Here's who you've got to top.
Yeah, but I never suggested that you put us in order of preference. Why can't we just be... But, it's like the Sonys when you get second and third. I don't want it.
I'd rather second and third than just what...
I wouldn't. Anyway,
Frank.
Luckily, he said the best was ... Mick Jagger, and I thought, well, I'm happy with that, Mick Jagger. And then I thought, Mick Jagger in an Addison Lee Ford Galaxy. What's going on? And he said to me, apparently Mick Jagger knows he knows the boss. He knows the boss of the company. So, Mick Jagger.
No,
he's thinking,
Frank,
I'll get a free...
You know about Mick Jagger?
Free car.
Is he stingy?
Yes.
Is he?
He doesn't Well, I don't know if we can say that, but well, no, I'm going to say it. He is.
Okay. Well, the same bloke said, there's so much gossip there. Same bloke said to me, I had that magician bloke in here. I thought, OK, I'll start the list now.
Yeah.
I said, Paul Daniels. He said, I had him and his wife. He said I had to give him a lift to South Mims Services. For a gig. He said no. He said he'd left his Rolls Royce there because he wouldn't pay the congestion charge.
Right.
Brilliant. Oh God, that's my phone.
Oh, it's the clowns again.
Paul
My
Daniels.
clown car is I'm
Frank,
totally sorry.
My favourite incident was when Chris Jagger, Mick's lesser-known brother.
Oh yeah, Chris Jagger. I remember the album he had out.
Yes, Chris Jagger once said to me, he said, yeah, I tell you what, we get a lot of celebrities around Muswell Hill. Linda Bellingham. I said, your brother's Mick Jagger and you're boasting about seeing Linda Bellingham in Muswell Hill.
Well,
Wow.
Jonathan Ross, you may know this story.
This is getting ridiculous. The amount of name-dropping going on in the studio.
Let's just go through it. He once sat next to Princess Diana at a dinner. Has he ever told you this story?
No.
And she said, I'm so envious of you because you've got a job where you can meet so many famous people.
Yeah.
And he said to her, but you could meet anyone you like. You must realise that. And she said, I only get to meet, like, politicians and people. He said, no, but you could meet anyone. He said, who would you most like to meet in the world? And I bet it could be arranged. And she said, Noel Edmonds. She was a very unhappy girl.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.